Hello, friends. It's Common Sense News, and my name is Doug Compton, and I am focusing on the Nevada caucus tonight, which apparently Bernie Sanders has won with no surprise. Like I've said before, he is the only one that has any support, any massive support, anyway. But like I have said before, if it comes to Trump and Sanders, Bernie Sanders doesn't have a chance because his radical ideas are way too radical for the, I don't know, middle income, blue collar Democrats and the flyover states, whatever you want to call them. They're not socialists, okay? They are old fashioned JFK Democrats, which is no longer the party of the Democrats. The party of the Democrats is now Bernie Sanders, who is a communist. I think Bernie Sanders' biggest challenge right now is Mike Bloomberg, just simply because of his money. I mean, we saw him in the debate and he was horrible, which is kind of weird because you'd think he would be a little bit better prepared for the debate, considering all of the allegations against him for all the misogyny he's done towards against women and all the racist things that he's done with the stop and frisk and all of that sort of thing. But regardless, I think that's Bernie Sanders' biggest problem right now. And also, the DNC is also largely against Bernie Sanders. And I think, now obviously, I don't have insider information, but I think the DNC doesn't like Bernie Sanders because they know what exactly I'm telling you. He cannot win the flyover states, the blue collar Democrats. They don't want socialism. There are people in this country that don't want socialism. I'm sorry, excuse me. I said that wrong. I meant communism. It's communism. They say socialism, it's communism. So you could basically take a flower and put it in a big pile of shit and call it socialism, but it's the same goddamn thing. And I mean, we had that guy in, where was it? Wisconsin, I think. It was one of Bernie Sanders' campaign managers who's being paid, not a volunteer, who's being paid to campaign for Bernie Sanders, who was talking about putting patriots and basically, freedom and Trump supporters into gulags, into re-education camps. Yeah, we heard that before, right? And that guy got put into jail, and guess who bailed him out? The Bernie Sanders campaign. They bailed him out of jail because they want him on their team. So he is a communist. He's not a socialist. He's a communist. No matter what he says, it's communism. The word socialism, it's just a term that they use to make it sound better. And I can't believe that people buy into this crap. And the DNC, they know that the American people will not buy into this. They will not buy into this because it's communism. And that's why the DNC is totally against Bernie Sanders. But Bernie Sanders has apparently won the Nevada caucus to no one's surprise. But that doesn't mean anything compared to what's going to happen in the general election, which the DNC knows very well that Bernie Sanders doesn't have a chance in the general election against Donald Trump. They know that for a fact, and that's why they are totally against him. In my opinion, of course, they are totally against him because they know that the American people don't want communism. Why? I mean, do I really need to explain why communism doesn't work? I don't think so. But tonight, after the Nevada caucus, Bernie Sanders held a rally in San Antonio, I believe. And that's the second rally he's had in Texas. So they are trying to turn Texas blue. Turning Texas blue would be devastating to the Republican Party because we have a lot of delegates here, and it would be devastating for the Republicans if they could turn it blue, which I don't think they can, but they sure as hell trying are to. But luckily for us here in Texas, besides the big cities, which we have a lot of, it is strongly Republican. I mean, I can tell you this from experience, we are gunned up like it's still the Civil War. I mean, it is very heavily Republican. And Bernie Sanders holding rallies in Texas just shows you that they're trying to turn Texas blue. And God forbid if that happens, that would be very bad for the Republican Party. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think that if it comes to the general election with Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump will win by a landslide. Simply because the general people just don't want communism. I mean, come on. Communism? I can't believe I even have to comment on this. I even have to make this a political issue. Who even thought that communism would be an issue in this country? Would be someone that's running for president in this country as an open communist? It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But he won the Nevada caucus, and where was he at? He was in San Antonio, Texas. Why? Because he wants to turn Texas blue. And I hope if you are a Texan and you're listening, that you will go out and vote. Because we cannot allow Texas to turn blue. I mean, Texas was the only state that at one point it was its own country. I mean, like I said just a few minutes ago, we've been gunned up since the Civil War. Okay? We are heavily Republican here, especially in the rural areas where I live in District 13. And Bernie Sanders is not the only one that has tried to turn this state into a different political structure. I can talk about my local mayor, even though you guys probably don't even care or know who it is. And it doesn't even matter. But my local mayor is supposedly Republican, but he's about as pink as a Republican as you can get. He owns construction companies, and all the government bonds he gets to fix the roads. Guess which companies he gives that money to? Yeah, exactly. So it's there's major corruption going on all over the country, I'm sure, not just here in Texas, but it's going on all over the country, and we're starting to see it, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing that we are starting to see the corruption and how politicians make money off of their position. I mean, the mayor, you know what the mayor's salary is? $700 a month. That's the mayor's salary. Okay? The mayor here drives an Infiniti. Where do you where do you think he got that money? Oh, cuz he owns construction companies. Oh, well, good for him. How sweet. And I actually had a conversation with the mayor back in 2016 when there was a true conservative running for mayor, and he lost, sadly, but he was running against him, and but in my district, the mayor has, we are one of the highest taxed districts in the entire county, and in my town alone, the infrastructure is terrible, and all the money that goes to the infrastructure are to these construction companies, and I'm willing to bet that the mayor gets money from this. Because how does he drive this giant ass Infiniti car with a $700 a month salary? He's not working for the people. He's definitely not working for the people. He's corrupt. All right? And I gave him a phone call one time because I was outside of a Home Depot, believe it or not, which is one of our biggest spots for voting. I saw him driving around, checking out, just kind of scoping us out. And I saw him, and I have his phone number because I have connections. And I called him, and I said, "Hey, man, where you at? Where'd you go?" And he just gave me this huge spiel on people are super racist against me. He's Mexican. He identifies himself as Republican, but he just so happens to be Mexican, which has nothing to do with anything. But all he kept talking about was how racist people are against him, which is total bullshit. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? This has nothing to do with race, man. You've been mayor for 4 years, and you've done nothing for this city. You've done nothing for this city. And today, I was out campaigning for a couple of hours for Dwayne Stovall for U.S. Senate to take John Cornyn's spot. John Cornyn has to go. Okay? he has sided with Beto O'Rourke, of all people. Beto. I mean, that that guy's just weird. He's just weird. He's crazy. But he wants open borders, and I mean, I can go on forever about that. But John Cornyn, the senator here, he is a rhino Republican. He's about as rhino as it gets. And we need him out of office. And so I was out electioneering for Dwayne Stovall for about 4 or 5 hours today. And God, I hope he wins. Because John Cornyn he's got to go. I mean, he's against Trump on everything. He's about as pink as a Republican can get. You know what I mean? He's against closing the border. He's for gun control as a Republican in Texas. He's against gun control. Or he's for gun control. Excuse me. And it's just unbelievable what's going on here in Texas. And I'm just talking about this because Texas is the second largest delegate state in the country. And John Cornyn, he's registered as a Republican because he has to be, or else nobody would freaking vote for him. But he is not any of those things. Dwayne Stovall is running against him, and he doesn't have a lot of money, but he's doing the best he can. And I was electioneering for him for at least 4 or 5 hours today outside of a polling location, and I'm doing everything I can. I don't get paid for any of this shit. But God, I hope he wins. I hope he wins because we need to get John Cornyn out of office. For sure. For sure. He's against Trump on everything. He is a rhino Republican, and so is our mayor. And I know you guys don't care about the mayor here because that's a kind of a small town deal. But but the mayor is super corrupt. He actually owns construction companies. Which is funny because the infrastructure here is horrible. And he gives all this money to these infrastructure, to these construction companies, and then nothing is done. So where does that money go? Well, you can tell me the answer to that. Okay. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to Common Sense News. And also, I have a webpage now. It's called itscommonsensenews.com. And there is a donate button. You can donate if you like to. I do all this for free. And I do it for free because I really care about my country. I really do. And I care about my city as well. Because that's where I live, So, anyway. Thank you so much for listening. And please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.